Hello again YouTube, welcome back to the Gaskets Head. Today I'm under a 2008 Ford C-Max. This one's got the 1.8 TDCi engine with a 5-speed gearbox. And we're going to be changing the rear gearbox mount or torque restrictor, whatever you want to call it. The reason being is that it's chattering at sort of low speeds in certain gears, and it's a bit annoying really. There are two ways of knowing that your gearbox mount has gone. This one, it wasn't as obvious because it's just chattering. But more often than not, they usually just start banging as you change gear, basically. But not this one, bit of a bizarre one. And if you can see, we just put a bit of pressure on the engine. It's really not much that I'm putting on it. And you can see, it doesn't look that bad there, but in real life, when you look up close, that is a massive gap that's closing up. That should really be moving back together just like it is there. Just a minimal amount of movement really, but as you can see, this one's going all the way back, all the way forward, and it's completely shot. Now this style of mount is fitted to the Focus as well, including like the Mark II RS and the ST, and it does fit the 5 and 6 speed boxes. The only difference being is the mount on the gearbox itself here is slightly different, and you can get the bush to go in them. This one is fine, so I'm not even going to bother changing it, but that's up to you what you want to do, if you're going to change it or not, because you can buy these separately online and they're not particularly expensive. In fact, sometimes even come with the new mount. So we're going to get this changed over. It's not a long one today, I'm afraid, guys, but it's something that's been bugging me on this car for a while, so let's get it changed over. Right, nice and easy, these, just two 15mm bolts. So I'm just going to crack them loose first. There you go, not that bad. There we go, let's run that off. Just going to whiz it off now. One bolt. 2 bolts. And we should just be able to pull the engine forward a bit. And just pulling down on this mount, it should come out just like that. Let's go and have a look at it on the bench with the new one. Right, here we've got the new and the old one. Now at first glance you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, that's not right, it's completely different. Well, yes and no. Ford did change the design of these at some point in the life of them, but actually when you marry them up together, the captive nut piece is in the same place, and when you put them over each other, there's no sort of size difference really. Looking at the old one, you don't need me to tell you that that's split. What usually happens, and well, in this case anyways, one side splits first, and all the stress then is put on the other side inevitably splits as well. In this one it's not quite got that far fully yet, it's still attached on this side, so that'll account for why it's just chattering at the minute and not fully sort of clanking on each gear change. But yeah, it's not far off that one, is it? But we'll get these changed over anyway. We'll get this new one in and that'll get rid of that. I'll link the part number in the description below. And if you're suffering the same sort of problems, then hopefully this video helps you. But let's get this on. Right, now we're going to fit the new one in. This will be a bit of a squeeze, so you'll have to bear that in mind. With the old one, it was split, so it was flexing quite a bit and it was quite easy to pull sort of down and out. This one is solid, so it's not that easy to not just, pop back in. So it might take a bit of gentle persuasion, but we've got to do what we've got to do to get it in. So we'll just get it lined up. In fact, sorry, I must mention first off, just make sure the captive nut side is over on the gearbox side. You don't want to have to be taking this out to put it back in the right way. And we just make sure that this centre piece through the bush can get into the housing in the subframe. We're just going to pull the engine gearbox forward, see if we can get it in as far as we can. You can see there, it's probably 5mm from getting in. So I'm just going to give it a gentle tap with a soft aluminium mallet. It's not the prettiest thing, but sometimes you've got to do what you got to do. And now it comes back out. So let's try that again. There we go. Like I say, not the prettiest way to do it, but the other option is you have to strip this plate off and this housing. You're not going to cause any damage to the bush with a soft sort of mallet. This is just a 4 aluminium and plastic mallet, and it's a little aluminium housing on the bush, and it wasn't that hard a tap. So that's in. Going to get it torqued up, get those bolts in first, sorry, then we'll get it torqued up. So just get one started. There's one. Get this lined up. There we go. All the way in. We'll run them up with the gun. There's one. There we go, that's that one in. It's not the most powerful impact gun in the world, that. Right, next up, we're just going to get it torqued up. As I usually say, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to because I can. And it's just 80 Newton meters. So get that on. So getting that out. Final push. There we go. And the same for the bottom one. Perfect. Right, okay, that's that installed. Like I say, it wasn't the prettiest way to put that in, having to tap it in with a hammer, but real world problems, real world solutions, I suppose. It's in, it was a gentle tap. As I say, you would have had to, you know, take this whole housing assembly off, and it's a faff. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. But it's up to you which way you choose to install it. Just to show you, I mean, I'm going to put all my weight on this, and it's basically lifting the car. But you can see it's nice and solid. There's a tiny bit, probably, you know, 2mm of movement, if that. And that's how it's supposed to be. So that'll stop any sort of knocking or chattering now. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Subscribe, comment, and thanks for watching.